The show where I give out a stat and one of our analysts tells me if they think that trend will continue this week. We're going to start with the Rams. Matthew Stafford has been an absolute stud in the playoffs. He's averaged 307.9 passing yards per game in his career. That is the highest in NFL history. Hall of Famers Kurt Warner and Dan Fouts, the only other players to average at least 300 yards a game in the postseason. So, Dan Orlovsky, do you expect big passing numbers from Matthew Stafford this week?
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of Shooting for the Stars podcast, you guys, with y'all's one and only host. Y'all guys already know, the man in the middle, Cameron Williams. And as y'all guys can see by the title of this video, we're still in the NFL playoffs. Wild card weekend is soon to be approaching, you guys. We are less than almost 72 hours away from wild card weekend, you guys. And guys, it's getting exciting. I cannot believe it. And starting this week, next week will not be no longer guaranteed. It's win or go home from here on out all the way to the Super Bowl, which will be in February, you guys, as we all know. And this week right here, you guys see by the title of this video, we're going to be talking about we're going to be discussing the Los Angeles Rams and the Minnesota Vikings, which will be the last wild card game on this Monday, on Monday night. As we all know, it's going to be exciting to talk about. But before I get into it, I'm going to get into the previews, going to get into who wins, who doesn't, who has the advantage, stats, numbers, things to know, numbers to know, and all that good stuff, you guys. Before I get into it, y'all guys already know we are on the road to 1,000 subscribers, you guys. I cannot 1,000 subscribers. As y'all guys know, I need y'all guys' love and support. I need y'all guys' help to get there, you guys. This is an amazing dream, man. Y'all guys help me, turn this dream into a reality, and then we're gonna set the next milestone. But one step at a time, day by day, little by little, you guys. Y'all guys know I love bringing you guys content, and y'all guys let me know what y'all want to hear next, man. As far as any sport, UFC, NBA, MLB, NFL, it don't matter, you guys. I'm free to elaborate on anything. I know a lot about little, so y'all guys know. But with that being said, enough talking. Let's get into the content. Let's go.
One eternity later.
So as we all know, you guys, so the last time these two teams met in the regular season, as we all know, in Week 8, the Los Angeles Rams are 10-7, and the Minnesota Vikings are 13-4 right now. They're 13-4 right now, you guys. And as we all know, the Minnesota Vikings, like I said, they met in Week 8, you guys, this year, and the Rams had defeated the Vikings 30-20 in Week 8, and the Rams will be hosting this game. The Rams will be hosting this game on Monday night at home. A lot of people are like, man, for those who don't know how it works, man, how the Vikings going on the road when they have a way better record than the Los Angeles Rams? Well, guys, the Rams won their division, in which the Vikings, they had a chance to absolutely skip this whole round. They had a chance to write their own narrative. They would have beat their divisional rivals last week in Week 18 for the battle for the number 1 seed in the NFC, than the Detroit Lions. But guess what? They came up short again. And I think Sam Darnold, a term I like to use, Sam Darnold came from a princess to an absolute frog. In other words, he came back to earth. He came back to him, because Sam Darnold, man, they brought him in. Like I said, I got to give it up to Sam Darnold, man. The dude's played absolutely surreal this season. I mean, he really has. I mean, he's been phenomenal. I mean, when you look at how he's played this year, I mean, he's honestly, when he was brought in as a bridge guy, a guy to compete with their first-round rookie quarterback who they took with the 9th pick this year, and with the 10th pick, and J.J. McCarthy, he ended up being out for the season, getting hurt severely bad, and training camp was out for the whole season. Who knows? Maybe J.J. McCarthy would have won a job. Maybe Sam Darnold still would have won a job. Who knows? But it was not projected for him to be playing this good, playing at this level throughout the duration of the year. And now it's bringing fans. Well, do you bring him back? Do you sign him? Because he's going to be looking for some big-time money. I mean, the way he's played, 35 touchdown passes thrown on the year for Sam Darnold. He's thrown 35 touchdown passes and just 12 interceptions. I mean, the god dog, man, the dude's been absolutely surreal this year. So it's going to bring back questions, but I think a lot to do with that. The Minnesota Vikings, if Sam Darnold's going to be back, if they're going to be throwing him $150 million in the offseason to bring him back, I think it's going to have a lot to do with the playoffs, man. I mean, they got absolutely drug, and I mean drug, in their game against the Detroit Lions. I mean, that was absolutely no game at all. I mean, no game. And Detroit was banged up. I mean, what? How does that work? But, guys, remember when I made that Rams video, you guys? I'm going to start with the Rams first. When I said, man, the Rams, they get in the playoffs. They look around, they get in the playoffs. They can absolutely, go into any team field and absolutely spoil a party. Absolutely, send a shocker, right? And here's the thing. This is their chance right here. Here's the Rams' chance right here to absolutely do that. And this is why I say that, you guys, because they're all healthy. We all know the Rams, they knew they were going to win the division last week. That's why they did not play their starters against the Seattle Seahawks. That's why you've seen Jimmy Garoppolo and the crew out there. But, you guys, this is what I mean right here. The Rams, you go back to that game. Matthew Stafford And I believe the Rams could have been a lot better team throughout this season if they would have been healthy. I mean, the first 9 games of the season, it was rough. It really was. It was rough for the Rams, the first 9 games of the season. It was rough for Matthew Stafford, the starting quarterback, a guy who they've not given up a guy they've not given up on, a Super Bowl champion, okay? But he started off rough. And really, the Rams, they've really not really played together till midway of the season. They've really been banged up all year, all their stars, from Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua, all those guys. Matthew Stafford in the first 9 games, you guys are going to put up on the screen for you guys. Matthew Stafford, in the first 9 games, he had a 4-5. He started off 4-5 win-loss record. His yards per attempt was only 7 yards, and his touchdown to interception ratio was 9-7, and only had a passer rating of 87. The last 7 games of the season, man, he's been otherworld since he got his guys back. 6-1 win-loss record. A 7.7 yards per attempt, which went up. At 11-1 touchdown to interception ratio, and a 104.6 passer rating. And the most consistent guy for the Los Angeles Rams, we all know the Los Angeles Rams, this is the team, they like to run the ball. They have a legitimate runner back there now, a guy who a lot of people don't know, but I bet you guys that play fantasy, I know y'all know him, and Kyron Williams this year eclipsed 1,000 yards with 1,299 rushing yards, 14 rushing touchdowns, and had 4.1 yards per carry. And first thing first, you guys, this is what I said. The Los Angeles Rams, and this is why they're a tricky team. They're a really tricky component with this Rams team. Because here's one thing I say: the Los Angeles Rams, you guys, they've been up and down. They've had games like that Buffalo Bills game where they can go off for 40. Man, Matthew Stafford, man, going haymaker, going touchdown for touchdown with the best of the best. I mean, Cooper, Puka, Tyler Higbee, who just came back 2 weeks ago from that hamstring injury, he's back now. I mean, they have the weapons, but it's been a little bit of inconsistency. It's been real inconsistency. They had games where they've been struggling getting over 20 points per game. I mean, come on now. And Sean McVay, being the offensive guru that he is, I imagine he's gonna find some kind of way. He has to find some kind of way. Probably go back to the drawing board week 8 when they played against the Vikings. Because when I'm telling you right now, Matthew Stafford, when these two teams met the first time, and this is why I think it could be an upset here pulled off by the Los Angeles Rams, which really in my case is not really an upset, because how's the home team an upset? I understand the Vikings have been surreal. Make no mistake about that. But y'all, go back to that week 8 game. And I know that was a while back, but that week 8, matter of fact, was actually the turning point in the Rams season when they started to get back healthy, when they started to, get entwined with each other. And you seen Sean McVay really mixing up a lot of calls. You seen him not taking the pressure off of Matthew Stafford and, getting stuff to Kyron Williams, setting up that play action game, rather that's been through, crack tosses or little pitches and all that kind of stuff, and jet sweeps and screens and all that kind of stuff. Regardless of what it's been, Sean McVay has done everything in his power as a head coach to utilize and get the most out of this offense. Right? We know it's an older group of guys, but he's still, man, like I said, he's really getting the most out of these guys, and he's getting them to play hard. I mean, you go back to week 8, Matthew Stafford absolutely lit up that Minnesota Vikings secondary with 279 passing yards. He threw 4 touchdown passes and only had 1 INT in that game. And matter of fact, that game, believe it or not, as great as we all know the Minnesota Vikings, we know their defense is, especially when it comes to getting to the quarterback. We all know, they did not even sack Matthew Stafford not one time in that game. Matter of fact, forget that game. In Matthew Stafford's last 4 games, besides week 18, because he did not play, Matthew Stafford's last 4 starts, he's not been sacked at all by no opponent. He's not even touched the surface. That's surreal. That lets you know how the offense is being ran. Quick stuff, a lot of quick plays, RPO action, stuff like that. To really, because Matthew Stafford's an older quarterback. You don't want him getting hit like that. And I love how Sean McVay has been able to utilize him. And also got to give credit to that offensive line too, who's been doing a tremendous job, in my opinion, blocking for Matthew Stafford. Okay, make no mistake about it. But one thing about it, you guys, this Vikings defense they're going up against. I mean, like I said, the Vikings defense is as good as all get out. Even though they not look like it, the Vikings got absolutely wore down and tore apart in their matchup against the Detroit Lions week 18th, and they got exposed of a lot of stuff. But again, they're not playing against the Detroit Lions. As a matter of fact, like I said, as good as the Vikings defense has been, they're top 5 in turnovers, but they have given up 24 points 7 times this year, which is a lot of points. Okay, and they did not. And again, I say the Vikings secondary again, they're as good as well. The secondary for the Minnesota Vikings, what Stafford will be facing on Monday night, has held quarterbacks to the second lowest rate in the league this year. in INTs with 24 INTs on the year. The Vikings have 24 interceptions as a defense on the season, and it's not even close. And they're 5 higher interceptions to the second team behind them. Vikings also have an 81% rate, not the sub rate, 81% flat rate against wide receivers, which is also the best in the NFL. They've gotten to the quarterback 49 times this year. They have 49 sacks on the year and 113 QB hits. And their 2 edge rushers, their 2 star guys coming off that edge who Brian Flores, defensive coordinator, likes to send to get after guys. It's Andrew Van Ginkel with 11.5 sacks on the season, first time hitting double digits. That's a career high for Andrew. And then, of course, Jonathan Grenard, a veteran in this league, a guy who most of y'all might know. Jonathan Grenard, we know, came from Houston. He led the way this year for him with 12 sacks himself. I mean, God, dog, I said, that's going to be the first thing foremost. Finding where those 2 edge rushers are at and finding a way to chip those guys, man, because I'm telling you, those guys get after it. The Vikings love to do a lot of blitz, and they love to do a lot of single high man-to-man blitzes where they'll have the whole middle of the field open. They'll just send everybody, and they'll get after that quarterback. They're really good at rush lane integrity. You know, they really hold guys. They really make it hard, confuse offensive linemen of which guy's going in which hole, you know, which guy's coming off the edge. They do a lot of mix and matching with the defensive linemen right before the ball is snapped to really confuse the quarterback and confuse the offensive lineman on, you know, who to block, you know, who to lead block on, who to chip. You know, they make it very confusing down there, and that's going to be important for that offensive line for the Los Angeles Rams to really pick apart and really find out. Because I'm going to tell you right now, that Vikings team, man, that defense with Brian Flores, as we all know, Brian Flores, he's getting jobs right now, getting called right now for teams for head coaching vacancies after being let go from Miami. As we all know, that comment that Tua Tagovailoa made about Brian Flores. And I always say, I believe Brian Flores is one of the best defensive minds in the game. I mean, his ability in which he sees the game to be able to call a defense to absolutely throw an opposing offense off track, off their rhythm, I mean, it's absolutely second to none. This dude deserves to be a head coach, and we all know the mess that Tua Tagovailoa said about him, saying that he told him he would never be great, and whether that's true or whether that's not true. You know, guys say things and they mix it up in their own words, but regardless of the matter is that Brian Flores, again I say, he's a player's coach. He's a guy who demands the best out of all his guys. He looks for the best in all of his guys. I mean, listen to Tua Tagovailoa.
In simplest terms, if you woke up every morning and I told you you suck at what you did, that you don't belong doing what you do, that you shouldn't be.
Yeah, like I said, like I said, y'all guys let me know what y'all think about that. Why it didn't work in Miami between those two. But you know, who cares? I mean, like seriously, but who cares? I mean, like I said, at the end of the day, both those guys are on their separate paths now. They're on their separate ways, and like I said, one could care less. But one thing I'll tell you right now, Minnesota Vikings have some huge problems, and this is the one last thing, and I'm going to wrap up this video, you guys. And here's what I said when I was watching. I found myself, and y'all, I watched the full Lions and Minnesota Vikings game. I did. I watched the full game, and I took something from this game, you guys. And I'm not saying it yet. This playoff game is going to entail a lot about it, and a lot about this team, and a lot about this player as a player, and Sam Darnold. But guys, look at the numbers I'm getting ready to put up on the screen. And Sam Darnold's been phenomenal all year. You can make a case. Obviously, he's not going to win it, but his name is definitely in the race for the MVP conversation. I mean, how could it not be? Look at how the dude has played. I mean, the dude has been surreal. I mean, come on now. He's been absolutely surreal. And guys, think about it. Let's just be honest with ourselves about one thing here. What I'm getting ready to say. Let's just be honest about one thing, you guys. Sam Darnold, I said this. He's just a younger version of Kirk Cousins. He really is. He seems like one of those quarterbacks. Obviously, this Monday night will be his first playoff game, his first playoff action in the NFL. We're going to see how he does against a Super Bowl champion, head coach and quarterback with Sean McVay and Matthew Stafford. And he just seems like a lot like Kirk Cousins. He seems like in a big game, he's not going to get it done. Because y'all guys see, look at these numbers. Look at his numbers in his 2 games against the Detroit Lions, in which they both lost. Okay, both coming late. One coming early in the season, the other one coming late in Week 18. Look at his numbers. Played atrocious. Was absolutely abysmal. I mean, taking the trash out bad. I mean, Sam Darnold. I mean, look at it. But then look at the numbers against all the other teams. Look at how he played against all the other teams in the National Football League. I mean, from his completion percentage. I mean, to passer rating, yards per attempt. I mean, everything is just it's a complete you know, swing seesaw. You know, it's up, down, like how a seesaw goes. I get it, up, down. Like, and those are the games right there. And y'all, I'm not paying attention to Sam Darnold when they're playing against the Jets or they're playing against the Cardinals, or they're playing up against the Giants, or they're playing up against, teams of that nature, or the Dallas Cowboys. That's not what I'm looking at. I'm looking at them when they're playing against teams like the Detroit Lions, the absolute best of the absolute best. Because that's where it matters. Because when you're in the playoffs, you guys, guess what? That's all you're going to be playing up against. That's all you're going to go up against day in and day out. It's the best of the best. Period. I mean, it's not going to be no in between, none of that stuff. You're going up against the best and the best week in and week out. And as far as for the Vikings, y'all got to come in this game like y'all are the underdog. Forget what the media is saying. They got y'all favorite to win the game. I'm telling y'all, this could be this game where Matthew Stafford could absolutely pop off and make a statement, not just to y'all, but across the whole league that I'm him. I'm that guy. I'm a Super Bowl champion. I got something left to prove. I got a lot of gas left still in this tank. And my running crew that's running with me, keep in mind, those between Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua, you guys, those guys have literally missed a little bit over a month on a year. And look at what they did. I mean, Puka Nacua in 11 games had 79 receptions, 990 yards, and 3 touchdowns, you guys. And Cooper Kupp in 12 games played had 67 receptions, 710 receiving yards, and 6 touchdowns. You guys, that's coming in a span in 11 and 12 games, almost eclipsing 1,000 receiving yards, still with missing that many games, missing that much time. Y'all guys are seeing what I'm saying? That's how lethal they are. Again, go back to that video I made, you guys, when I talked about how they absolutely tore up Buffalo. I mean, absolutely, their defense could not find an answer to slow down that offense. It's just the only thing is with the Rams, they don't play that way consistently. They don't. They have to figure that out because that defense is young. That's a young defense, and I'll give the defense. They're not a bad defense. They're just almost kind of like the Broncos. They're young. They're hungry. They fly around. In their last 3, they've held teams to under 10 points in their last 3 games from weeks 15 through 17. They've held their opponents to under 10 points. Not, of course, talking about the Cardinals and teams like that, but still under 10 points. So they can play, they can hold, they can support the offense to a degree. But at the same time, we all know this Rams team, in order for them to win, they're going to be very dependent on that offense. They're going to be very dependent on Matthew Stafford making a play, on Kyron Williams breaking free for a big, long run, extending the drive. They're going to have to do stuff like that because when you look at that Minnesota Vikings offense, man, again, I say that's going to be a tough task. There's not really a number one corner that sticks out to me on the Los Angeles Rams. They're just not. I mean, and you look at who they're going to be going up against. They're going up against an all-world wide receiver this week, and we all know Jetta, plane taking off. That, to me right there, man, if wide receivers got the love they were supposed to get, and if I could vote for wide receiver, man, Justin Jefferson would be my what, you guys? Justin Jefferson would be my But really, guys, I mean, seriously, I mean, he's no joke. And who's going to cover him? I mean, you got to account for him. I mean, I didn't talk about him yet. How can I make a whole 15-minute video this far and not talk about the best wide receiver in the National Football League? Matter of fact, not talk about the Vikings at all. I'm going to talk about the Vikings offense against the Rams defense, and that's going to be it. I'm going to conclude this game and give y'all guys my prediction of who wins it. Justin Jefferson on the year, 103 receptions. Third time breaking over 100 receptions in his career. 103 catches on the season. 1,533 receiving yards. 10 receiving touchdowns. And Jordan Addison, one of the best wide receiver twos you'll find in the National Football League, with 63 catches, 875 receiving yards, and 9 receiving touchdowns. Those guys right there, you guys have been absolutely on what we call on a rampage. On an absolute rampage. Them guys have gotten after it. I mean, Sam Darnold and T.J. Hawkinson, you got him coming back, who's had 541 receiving yards for 41 receptions this season. The tight end, T.J. Hawkinson, when he's eclipsed, when he's involved in the offense, their offense is a lot better. Make no mistake about that. So the Rams are going to have their hands full. Don't forget, I haven't even mentioned the ground game yet with Aaron Jones. We all know how elusive he is. I mean, the way how Kevin O'Connell has used him and how he's quickly, because keep in mind, he spent his whole career over there in Green Bay and their divisional rivals playing for the Packers, and then departed this year, first year on a new team, and boy, he's been great in the passing game. He's been great in the run game. I mean, you're going to have to account for him too. Like I said, it's just a lot of stars, so Matthew Stafford's going to have to make up for the groundwork. The offense is really going to have to get going. I believe it's going to be very important that they can maintain a lead and that they get off to a hot start fast in this game. And the Rams, in which I'm referring to, I believe it's going to be important that they get off to a really hot start, get off to a hot start fast and in a hurry. And then, of course, it's going to be about, how can they, what kind of disguises can they go? What kind of disguises can they throw at the Minnesota Vikings offense to kind of throw them off a little bit? What can they do, to kind of get them off the field, keep them from winning the time of possession, get them off the field again, I say. And not only that, and get after Sam Darnold. That's the main thing. getting after Sam Darnold. You know, you get after him, they should be all right. And then the Vikings offense, again, they've been one of the league's best. They average a 25.4 points per game on the season, which is 9th in the NFL, and they're 19th in red zone scoring. They're 19th in the league, which is middle of the pack in the red zone. So that's why I believe the Rams are going to have that advantage. If they can hold them to 3, even if the Vikings are marching down on majority of their drives, getting down, getting field goals and stuff, that's good. We'll take 3 points over 6 any day of the week, as long as they're not getting touchdowns, and as long as we're still putting our offense and giving our guys, in which we know who are elite, in Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua, Tyler Higbee, Sean McVay as the play caller, Matthew Stafford, Kyron Williams. If we're giving them a chance to get the ball back, everything gonna be all right. I mean, seriously. And with that being said, yeah, give me the underdog again. Just like I told y'all in my last preview, you guys, I had Denver pulling off the upset against Buffalo. I know I'm gonna get a lot of flack for that one, but that's my team. Like I said, I'll take the flack. I'll take the heat y'all guys are gonna give me, whatever. But yeah, I'm gonna take the Los Angeles Rams to win this game. I got them pulling off an upset. Like I said, they surprised them in week 8, 30-20. I believe they can do it again. I mean, Demarcus Robinson had 2 touchdowns, Puka Nacua scored, and Cooper Kupp scored. I mean, Matthew Stafford lit them boys up, and I believe he can do it again. Probably not in the same manner. You know, it's playoff football. The lights are brighter. You know, the hits are harder, and it's, you know, like I said, every play counts. Every play matters. You know. But I got the Rams taking this game. I just don't trust the Vikings, man. I just really don't. It's just something about that team. Like, I really got bad signs from them in that loss in Week 18 last week against the Detroit Lions. I really did. I really didn't feel comfortable. It's not what they did. It's how they played. You know, Sam Darnold again last week going at last game of the season. Your last film to put on tape for these coaches, rather if you're playing for the Vikings or rather if you're playing for another team next year. Dude, last game of the regular season, Sam Darnold, 18 out of 41 passing. He threw 41 passes, only completed 18 of them, and completed 55% of his passes. Man, what? And you talking about getting top-notch money? Like I said, you better, just like Russell Wilson, you better pull up with a good performance in the playoffs. You better give us one playoff performance. You better give us a performance, like they say, like the old folks say. You better give us a performance for the ages. If you better give us a performance for the absolute ages, because, like I said, you didn't leave us with a lot to smile about in the last regular season game against the Detroit Lions, which is also the most important game, because y'all wouldn't be playing this week if y'all would have took care of your business against them. Okay. Give me the Rams to win it, you guys. Give me the Rams. I already got 3 wild card predictions for y'all. Again, I said I'm going to give y'all a little rerun. When the Steelers and Ravens, I already told y'all guys, I got the Ravens winning that game. The Steelers are absolutely, like I said, they're in complete chaos right now. It's going to be a lot of stuff going on with that franchise if they lose, when they lose this week. A lot of stuff, specifically with head coach Mike Tomlin, for how long he's been bullcorning that organization. Seriously, with just the same old. And then I got Denver pulling off the upset, and then I got and then of course I got the Rams winning. I got the Rams pulling off another upset. So right now I'm going for the underdogs for the most part outside of Baltimore. I'm going for the underdogs, and of course I still owe y'all a preview to the other wild card games like the Eagles and the Packers game and the Texans and Chargers and the other games. We're gonna bring those to y'all guys as well. But I can tell y'all guys right now, I can make it real easy for you guys right now. I can tell you some teams that are going home. I can tell you who's going home. Texans going home. Packers going home. Who else going home? The Buccaneers, they're going home for sure. Like I said, Steelers going home. Buffalo going home. Broncos country. Okay, so like I said, I can tell you right now. Like I said, that's the easy part. I'm gonna bring y'all know y'all know what we do on this channel. I like to bring y'all guys breakdowns and exquisite breakdowns and stuff inside the game. Just let y'all guys know, bringing in the numbers, the film, everything. And yeah, that's gonna wrap up today's video, you guys. Y'all guys let me know who y'all have winning this wild card showdown, you guys. Is this gonna be an absolute showdown? It is the last wild card game of the week on Monday night, and we're gonna see who gonna show up, man. Like I said, a clash between the two Titans. Guys playing for a lot, guys playing for jobs, and this winner go home. Next week is no longer guaranteed. And y'all guys let me know what y'all want to hear next in the comment section down below, as I'll be bringing that to you guys. And make sure to hit like, comment, and subscribe. We are on the road again. I said you guys to 1,000 subscribers. I could not get there without y'all guys' love and support. But with that being said, you guys, I will see y'all guys on what we already know. Y'all guys, again, let me know who y'all got. And this game right here, like I said, it's going to be a clash between the two Titans for the last time I say. Rams, Vikings. Y'all guys spam the comment section down below who y'all have taking this game. As we already know, who going to bring it on the last and final game, or like what Snoop Dogg says, on what?
Monday night.
Monday night. I'll see y'all in the next episode, you guys. Y'all gotta stay safe out there. And again, y'all let me know what y'all want to hear next in the comment section down below. As I'll see y'all in another episode on Shooting for the Stars podcast with y'all's one and only host, Cameron Williams.